G'day mates, and welcome back to Empires of the Undergrowth. I do recognise it has been a little bit of time since I last recorded, but that is due to effectively Christmas and New Year getting in the way, along with a couple of family emergencies that did crop up over that time. But things are back and we are ready to head on to the next episode. Now, a couple of people have voted and they are liking the idea of the mortar ant. They like the higher power and slower speeds of big powerful shots of acid being shot out, as opposed to the rapid fire. Now, we're not actually choosing who we want just yet. I will choose who I want up in this bit here when I actually choose to evolve my ant. What I can do though is actually give it a trial one. So I can run it on this one for this mission, and then on the next mission I can actually try out the rapid fire ant. That'll give you guys a little bit more time to see it. But currently the mortar ant is ahead of the voting. Well, let's dive on in. We're going to head on into this one and actually fight the rising tide. We're going to have to survive for a period of time, but I will stop talking once the narrator dude begins.
This Formica rufa wood ant queen has laid her first brood in a burrow near the sea. Her nest is just on the outskirts of the beach, the perfect vantage point for scavenging hapless morsels washed in by the tide. At the moment, the tide is out, but it won't stay that way. The ants must make haste and stockpile what they can, while they can.
Okay, that is correct. So we do need to stockpile as much food as we can. We're actually going to stockpile as much food up here as we can. This is going to be a nice little area to stockpile all our food because it's very close to the entrance, which I'm not going to open up just yet. We'll see. We will see that. Actually, let's open it up anyway. Let's go have a look at the top side. We will need to know what's up there eventually. We're going to need. That is not the correct shape here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. There we go. One more level up.
There is food to be found all over the beach, but the wood ants must be cautious and choose their trails carefully. Tiger beetles frequent the higher ground, and they will make quick work of any wood ant that strays too close.
Okay, so these are the tiger beetles. They are giant, very powerful, see, compared to the size of an ant. And there's actually a rival ant colony here. They're going to provide a fair bit of hassle for us, considering we only have very few ants. So let's throw down some food storage areas. Probably too much actually, because I don't have much food in the undergrowth here, but I'll throw down now a couple of these workers. They're quite cheap at 20 food each, but we're going to need more food. So to that end, let's start gathering something from the surface here. We will gather the rest of the stuff underground at a later date. They look quite dangerous, so we're going to need to build up a significant force, I think. 2 types of soldier, I'll talk about it in a second. Tide, yes, and ranged wood ants. That's it. So we have here 2 types of military soldier we can build. We have these melee ones, which are a little bit annoying having this little symbol on them. It makes me think they're the special one. Actually, they're just generic melee. They're actually very low DPS, but high tank power. These ones here are our shooty wood ants, the mortars that we've got. So hopefully, let's put a bit of food here. Come on, grab that. Excellent, now grab these ones down here as well. So those will be our DPS units. So we need to have sort of a frontline tank and then a couple of DPS in the background just killing stuff off. So to that end, I'm actually going to get a lot of workers, because workers are going to be what gets us the numbers we need early on to actually go and grab all this food. So we've got a lot of food. You guys go and start working. We've got a lot of food down here on the lower levels. There's not too much here, but as you get to the lower levels, you get more and more of it. Like that's a massive, phenomenal amount of food. So once we've built up a decent force here, we can actually charge down and get a huge amount of food. And what that'll allow us to do is to build up the numbers we need to actually take on these guys here. Early on, we're not going to be fighting them. We just do not have the capability to force them back. I think the numbers, and we can't afford the food. So by getting a huge amount of numbers, we're actually going to charge down and not engage them. If they kill a couple of our guys, then so be it. Looks like everyone's hatching slowly. I'm not sure if I like these crystals set in the wall. I think I would just prefer a general ambient light like is down here somewhere, because it's a little hard to see colours of these guys hatching. Either way, I think what we're ready to do now is charge down. You guys are going to shoot down the bottom here. You're not going to fight. We're going to grab as much food as we can. Now, I'm not going to talk for a little bit, and we'll just speed through, because this will take over an hour of total time if I do not speed things up.
There are other wood ants out here. They have also come to take advantage of the buffet provided by the sea. Territorial disputes will invariably favor the colony with the greater numbers.
And there you go, that's exactly what I was saying before. Numbers are going to be important. They're going to continue to attack us.
Fight to the death.
Yes, we will fight to the death. They're going to continue to attack us, kill off a couple of our people who unfortunately decide to fight once they've been engaged. But we can go down, grab this food here. Are you not going to grab the food? Okay, now you're finally grabbing the food. I don't know what happened there. But we've got this food, we're going to run back and stockpile up. Ah, the food stores are full. That's very interesting. In that case, you guys come back here and continue building up the nest.
The tide is coming in. Soon the lower levels of the beach will be flooded. Any ants caught in the surge will be washed out to sea.
Okay, that's worthwhile noting. We should not head down that direction anymore. Instead, we're going to focus on the higher levels. We're actually going to shoot over here and not harvest that food anymore. It's unfortunate because there's a lot of good food there.
In the nest.
In the nest? Shit. Oh, no. No, I stuffed that up. We need to get down here right away and fight these guys off. This is probably going to be the end of the mission. I went down too far, unfortunately. Very, very silly of me. But we'll see if we can fight them off. It's going to be tight, actually, because these are... No, I think we've got enough numbers here and enough stockpiled food to take them out. But most unfortunate. That has weakened us a little bit just when we're starting to run out of time. If we have a look up here, though, the tide has actually come in. It's gone up one level. It's going to be quite quick now that it's begun coming in. It'll go all 3 levels quite rapidly. But, oh, excellent, we've got that. While we're here, we may as well actually not go down there. Let's focus up on the top surface first and grab this food here while it is still available. We'll grab what we can, and then we'll have to go back underground during the night time to take care of all the food down here. So we should have a lot of food supplies, and that will allow us to hopefully keep ourselves busy over night time. Let's check up the top here. We're still...
The water is rising quickly. The ants must head for higher ground.
Okay, so the water's going to come up to this level now, so we're not going to bother hunting any food here. We're just going to take what we can from this area. And we actually are fighting them now, so I think we've got sufficient numbers to at least put up a fight and kill off a couple of their ants. Although they effectively have an infinite spawning supply, so we might be better off maybe focusing down here instead. And actually, let's not fight them. Time is going to be of the essence here. We just need to get down as quickly as we can, grab what food we can, and get out.
The ants have been spotted by Cicindela dorsalis, the beach tiger beetle. With its long, slender legs, it's the king of speed on these intertidal flats. Its wide, carving jaws will slice effortlessly through squads of wood ants. It's going to take a monumental unified effort to bring this beast down.
Okay, we'll try to avoid fighting them as much as possible. They will absolutely destroy us.
The tide has almost reached its highest point. The sands east of the nest are about to be completely flooded.
Okay, with that, I think this is going to be the end of it. We're going to just run off now. These are probably not going to be cost-effective trades, unfortunately. I don't think we're getting enough food to offset the amount of guys that we're losing, and unfortunately they're still running down there. Either way, Yeah, nocturnal
Tide is
creatures.
in, and soon night
Let's
will
have a look.
fall. As the temperature drops outside, nocturnal creatures begin to awaken. It would be wise for the roofer colony to stay underground and hope that their nest remains hidden until the morning. Overground, nocturnal hermit crabs rule over the sands at night. These creatures are typically scavengers, searching for algae and dead creatures on the beach. But due to the unusual incursion of Formica rufa colonies into this area, this particular community of crabs has developed a taste for ant flesh.
Well, it's a little bit melodramatic, I think, but it looks like these guys are coming out and they're going to be a bit of a threat to us.
A hermit crab has found its way into the nest. The ants must mount a swift and decisive defense.
Okay, here they go. So we've got 5 of the little shooty ants, assuming they all hatch up, and that'll allow us to take them down. So we've got the range to shoot at them. These things have a lot of health and a lot of defense, so actually breaking through them is very, very difficult. We need to have our DPS ants to actually do the damage to them, while our other ants just sort of take up and hold the slack. I'm actually thinking of clearing that out so we have more of an engagement area here. This doesn't seem too hard. They've withdrawn into his shell, so his defense has gone sky high. Once he pops out again, we can finish him off. There we go, and get a little bit of food out of that as well, which will be great. And we're going to keep building up our force here because we need to defend ourselves of an evening here, as well as continue pushing and taking all the additional food in these corners over here. Probably that one looks dangerous. That might be a safer one to go for. Once we kill these guys off, we will get ourselves a little bit more food, but we need to knock them back. They're doing a lot of damage, and because you can start to see how that tanking ability of these hermit crabs comes off for their advantage. So when there's multiple versions of them, we're focusing on one.
The ants must protect the queen.
Yes, we will protect the queen. Oh shit. Okay, did not realize that. I wasn't even thinking. I'd open that up. We may even lose our queen if we're not careful. Oh no, we'll manage. It's come close. That was a little bit silly of me. I wasn't paying attention opening up this area back here at the same time. Well, things are a little bit tight here, but we should have enough now to charge up and grab more food, which will allow us to respawn all the guys we lost and actually make a bit of profit here. These guys here actually provide a fair bit of food at 110, which is a few trips for our ants back and forth. Now that we've cleared up this area as well, we should be in a pretty strong position. I don't think anything will be able to threaten us this evening.
More hermit crabs have found the nest. Predators are loose in the nest. The larvae must be protected.
The tide is receding and a new day dawns. The hunters of the night return to the safety of the shadows, and the ants can begin to lay down new trails. The harvest must go on.
Well, there we go. Looks like the tide is finally gone. Let's actually charge to the very bottom here. We're going to want to harvest as much of this good quality food as we can. We've also leveled up fully here, maxed out there. I'm actually going to, I think, level up our food supplies. We need to really get as much in as possible. We're in a good, strong position to hopefully become a strong force by the end of today. But then today we need to be able to hold off and fight the other ant forces as well as these big ass beetles here before they do too much damage to us. Especially if these nocturnal creatures continue to push us over night time. 2 more nights to survive should be relatively easy, hopefully.
Yeah, must fight. Yeah, must fight. This colony must remain small for now. Food is too scarce to support greater numbers.
Okay, I may have pushed a little bit too far here. They are forcing us back fairly well. They've met our aggression, our response. I forget what I'm saying. They've met our push with a response of aggression. So taking this food up here may be a little bit too close to their nest. What I'll do though is instead march south. This stuff here can be a little bit dangerous to take because these beetles come along here, but I think we're beginning to develop a force now that can actually take these beetles on if they encounter our main army of ants here. I think we should be strong. Now I am building up a couple of wrong ones, of the Tankysaurus ones over here. That will allow us to effectively build up a good, solid, separate force. I can have my workers actually come in and not fight, while my soldiers will hold an area and continue to fight. And that is going to be my end goal for how I'd like to handle this. So I've still got the workers who can run around and actually do the work and continue bringing in food while we keep our soldiers in a massed bunch here to hopefully take this down. This could be a bit strong. 2 of them I think might be pushing it a bit. 1 of them we could have got quite easily. But the second one here, looks like our ants are coming in force though, so we might be able to actually beat them back. With that, we've beaten the tiger ones. That'll be brilliant if we can do that. No, let's stop. Let's fall back. I've lost this.
The tide is coming in.
Most unfortunate.
Soon the lower levels of the beach will be flooded.
Most unfortunate. Lost a lot of lands there, unfortunately. We're not quite strong enough to take on 2 of them. What I do need is the tanks. How much food do we get? 100 food off them. So if I can get a little bit of food here, then that'll actually be really good. Because I can rip that in. What I'm thinking now is I'm going to move these guys here. You're no longer going to fight. You're no longer going to harvest food. And looks like the water is coming back in. So this one here is probably going to be too quick for us to get down there. I'm going to keep harvesting on this higher level. And I think we can even take out another one if it were to come. But I'm actually going to bring my force up here. And my other army. I'm going to push down and try and take this food here. Along with any of these guys. And there's actually a food thing to the north. Let's try that one instead. Looks like there's a larger concentration there. Keep building up additional defensive guys here, the tanks, and then we can move up northwards. I think we should be able to take this quite easily. So these soldiers will be able to hold anything that comes in from the north, as well as get us a bit more food if they decide to attack us. Yep, here they are coming in. Our soldiers should be able to take them out quite comfortably.
The water is rising quickly. The ants must head for higher ground.
As you can see, this effectively lets me keep harvesting the food while we just buy time, even if we do lose. Oh, no, you guys get back to fighting. We're going to need you to kill that thing as quickly as possible. So we can fight 2 of them in a row, but not 2 of them at the same time. Because we're keeping all our forces here together. You guys can harvest the food as well, and we'll back out of here as quick as we can. Because once nighttime falls, we do not want to be on the surface. Anything that we kill and fight up here will actually cause all the surface animals to charge in towards us and start attacking. So we need to take what food we can and get out of here. Quick smart. Does mean that we could probably start harvesting up here as well. Let's get this food and bring you guys back underground. You are still not fighting. Is there much food up there? No, it looks like we got it all. So you guys now are actually going to fall back underground. Meanwhile, these guys will hopefully be able to fight this stuff off. Okay, it's a giant adult one. That's not so good. Let's get our forces up there as quick as we can.
Must be protected.
The tide has almost reached its highest point. The sand beasts of the nest are about to be completely flooded.
There is another creature roaming the sands tonight. Arctosa littoralis, the beach wolf spider. In the day, these spiders retreat to the shade provided by larger plants on the edge of the beach. But once the sun is gone, they are far more active and on the hunt for a midnight feast. There are intruders in the nest.
Okay, that's not sounding good. The beach wolf spider is here. Can we see any of them? None just yet. No doubt they will come out shortly. So we've got the hermit crabs to worry about, as well as the beach wolf spider. Hopefully they won't come in and attack us. That would be disastrous. These guys here as well doing a fair bit of damage to us. But because they're worth, what are they worth, 100 food each.
A wolf spider has found the nest entrance. She is only small, but her venom will quickly incapacitate any ant that tries to fight alone.
Definitely not good. Looks like they are coming in and fighting us back. We're going to try to defend the queen as much as we can and take them down. There you go, numbers, and we're able to actually beat them back. And 110 food is spectacular. We can actually use that. Ooh, what's that? I have no idea what that could be. That's a giant, maybe an old queen or something. That's worth a lot of food. Definitely worthwhile coming down and getting that. 300 food. These guys here only provide something like 110. So 300 food is phenomenal. That'll allow us to effectively build up our force to completions. We're going to need a couple more of these melee soldiers. Throw in a little path between them. And I think with that, we've effectively built up our nest as much as I would like. I think with that we'll be able to basically just upgrade from here on out. I don't think I'll need any more than 19 of each. If we have a massive food storage, food glut later, then we may consider it. But for the time being, we should be in a very strong position, and we're only in the second night.
Another wolf spider has entered the nest. This one is large, fast, and voracious.
And also very dead, but it's worth 180 food, which is spectacular, considering we probably lost 1 or 2 ants maximum there. So, good trade, happy to do that. Okay, I'm getting a little bit cocky here. I think we might be able to even go up on the surface and start gathering some food. There are quite a lot of guys down here, but I think we might be able to actually fight them back. We will see how we go. I'm going to bring out our massive force here. You guys are not going to fight. I'm going to bring you out just to gather food. We should be able to take them out and we'll see what happens. It could go very wrong for me very quickly, but if I have to, I can retreat back. You see our area effect attack is quite large as well for this acid. We've leveled up a lot of guys. Okay, that worked. I wonder if pushing further south is going to be a good idea or not. We'll head down and we'll see what happens. Up here, we've got a small spider and just a bunch of these. Oh, nope, nope. Looks like some of them have gone into the nest. We need to get back as quick as we can.
The ants must protect the queen.
Okay, there's a lot of food we've just gathered from those wolf spiders, and it was a very, very effective trade. So that'll fill up our food stockpiles quite quickly. Although we did lose quite a few, so we're hatching them back as quickly as we can. But I think definitely a positive trade there. It did put us out of position briefly. Looks like there's more enemies coming into attack as well. Let's fight them off. Well, so far these mortar ants have been putting in a really good showing. I was not particularly impressed with them earlier on in this mission when they were fighting individually. When they shoot, you know, like a couple of guys up here, they were fighting them. They're too slow, and if an ant's moving or something, or if it's one-on-one, they're just not particularly powerful. But you can see when you get a lot of them, and you're versing like these big set-piece battles where the big fights are coming in, they're incredibly useful. So they're definitely good for in a pinch. I'm definitely going to consider them. We'll have to try out what the other guys are like in the next episode to sort of see how that goes. But I think for the time being, I am very nearly convinced that mortar is the way to go. Simply because just their effectiveness taking down big groups of strong guys like that. That area effect is surprisingly good. I thought it would be quite small and only useful for fighting enemies en masse. But actually these big guys as well do clump up enough that we can do some good damage to them. So we'll see how that goes.
As the sun rises over a new day, the tide recedes. The nocturnal creatures return to the shadows, and once again, the harvest must continue.
Okay, let's take advantage of the fact that we're out of here first and get down and grab as much of this food as we possibly can. Is there anything up here? There's a bit more up there. Looks like there's actually more of it down this way. I'm going to send you guys south. I'm going to send the soldiers north.
The battle has begun. The workers have done all they can to prepare this brood chamber.
Okay, so I can use my soldiers now just to hold this area. They're just going to hang around here and not harvest food, while my additional guys are going to charge in here as they eventually get back and take the rest of this food before the tide comes in, which is still a little while away. And then we'll be able to go down here and compete to getting this food as well. Is there any more up here? No, we've got all that. So as we get forced back, we should be able to get more and more food. Now throw in another group of guys here. I have put a little road tile in between them so they don't join up. So I do want to have them as separate broods, just in case I need to move them around in different directions. Tide is beginning to rise, so we are looking
The tide is coming
pretty
in.
strong position.
Soon the lower levels of the beach will be flooded. Any ants caught in the surge will be washed out to sea.
So I have upgraded a fair few of these guys here as well. One, because I had so much food available, but two, also just because having a upgraded worker class, especially when a lot of them are meat shields and I need them to survive, is a big benefit. Now they get some sort of bonus, I think, by being upgraded to level 3, but I don't recall what that actually is. Looks like we're finished here. You guys harvest food a bit, and then we will... Is there any food up here? There's actually a fair bit here, so I'm going to tell you guys to head up that way. You guys go up here as well. That has... yeah, no more food left. We're going to absorb all that. So with that, we should be able to push up here and then fall back
The battle has begun.
just in time before this tide gets all the way up. And I think they might even lose some ants if they're not careful. They need to be very careful down here. Probably could have gone for that, but I think we've got more food. More than enough up here. We've only got one more night to actually survive. So this is going to be the big one.
The workers have done all they can to prepare this brood chamber. The water is rising quickly. The ants must take the higher ground. The tide has almost reached its highest point. The sands east of the nest are about to be completely flooded.
The tide is in, and soon night will fall. As the temperature drops outside, nocturnal creatures begin to awaken. It would be wise for the roofer colony to stay underground, and hope that their nest remains hidden until the morning.
Well, there we go. This is the beginning of the final night, and I think we have sufficient capability to be more active up top here. We have effectively, let's have a quick look at them all here. Pull up. So I think if I push control, yeah, I can put that button. So we've got level 3 tanky dudes, a full load of them. We've got a full load of level 3 shooty dudes. Effectively a full load of the larger of the two workers, completely leveled up, and then a couple of just grunt workers who may or may not get leveled up depending on how we go this evening. But we can do a fair bit of killing tonight, actually stop these guys from even breaking into the nest, which is fantastic because they actually run around and eat the eggs before eventually moving on the queen. So we need to take what we can here. You guys will actually fight as well as harvest food. You guys will only fight. I need to keep you up here permanently. I can't afford to have you run back underground for anything. Ooh. Could be a bit dangerous here, but so far we seem to be holding off quite well. I think with enough food we'll be able to push through till the end of the night. You can definitely see the power now here of these mortar ants. With that area effect, they're sort of, anything they attack, they're taking out one on the side as well. Ooh, could be a problem. Looks like a massive attack on us. But we got more than enough numbers here. I don't think anything is going to be able to stop us at this difficulty level at least.
A huge wolf spider has found the colony. This one is a mother, and her recently hatched brood have followed her into the nest. These ants are facing an overwhelming infestation.
When we took it down, it looked like there were hundreds of those little tiny baby little spiders you can see running around. I don't know if they're worth any food or not. Start harvesting food. They pick them up. Yep, they're picking them up. So we're eating the little tiny baby ants as well. That's so cute. Poor little things. Either way, that looked like it was the final boss battle. We managed to keep it out of the nest. If it had got in, a couple of them did, but if it had got in, they just would have scattered everywhere. They would have ripped through all our larvae and eggs up here. We just would have needed to defend around the queen as much as possible. But we managed to hold them back, thankfully.
As the ants grow in number, the local predators pose less and less of a danger. Eventually they will be displaced from this area entirely. Despite the dangers of the beach, it seems this intrepid queen's gamble to establish her colony here has ultimately secured her success.
There you go, victory for Formica rufa. Excellent, excellent news. With that, we have beaten the next mission and effectively showing us how powerful those mortar ants can be. We were a force for anything. Last time I did that mission, I couldn't even hold the surface. I had to fall back into my nest to actually fight them off, so that was spectacular. I'm going to take additional royal jelly simply because we do have upgrades to do. And let's end this level and head back and have a quick look at our Formicarium. Score is looking very nice. Heaps of additional food. So may even need to consider expanding our food storage because we're, yes, nearly at maximum.
Exhibiting interesting new behaviors. I believe the colony is beginning to adapt.
Yes, colony is beginning to adapt. So let's continue to expand this one. That'll give me a new food storage area to effectively double my food storage even further. Throw one in there. I could probably... Yeah, look at that. I could fit another one there as well. This is going to be beautiful. So we're going to have a lot of food storage. Probably even fit another one up there. And really make this look nice. So we're developing up. I've used up a fair bit of territory. But I've got so much territory at this point that I don't think it really matters. Yeah, with enough space probably for 2 more squadrons of ants down here, which will be our ranged ants once I eventually get everything set up. Anyway, I'm going to take care of all this off camera because I can't talk and do things at the same time. It is my greatest weakness. So I'm going to take care of all this off camera. I'll cut back once we're prepared and then we'll head on to the next episode. Okay guys, the final little bits of food are just trickling in now. We've cleaned it up on the surface here. We have a phenomenal amount of food storage. This is just spectacular. At this point I can't imagine any threat in the game that could be a problem to us, although we have yet, of course, to go into Formicarium Challenge 2, and this game is still in alpha, or maybe it's beta, but I would say it's probably feature incomplete at this point, so it's still in alpha, and in which case it has a lot more levels to come up, and there's going to be more challenges in the future. So we might think we're powerful now, but no doubt that asshole scientist is going to put some serious testing on us in the future. Either way, this is the end of this episode. Smash that thumbs up button if you do indeed enjoy more content coming out from me. Thumbs down button if it's not to your taste, but at least drop a comment. Let me know what you'd prefer and how I can improve. Take care, guys, and I will see you next time as we head into the next challenge.